From the WatchBox Studios, this is On Point on WatchBox with Cynthia Hardy.
Good morning. Welcome to On Point on WatchBox. It's always a pleasure to bring you our show. We do want you to tune into our radio show, On Point with Cynthia Hardy, heard every Sunday evening, 6 p.m. on 101.3. Today on Point on Watch, energy usage and our commitment to the environment. The green movement, or efforts to preserve and improve the environment, are gaining momentum. And that's a good thing, because until recently, we've used energy sources and water as if there is an endless supply and like they'll be there forever. In reality, our natural resources won't be if we don't take care of them and become more efficient in our usage. October is Energy Awareness Month. And while green may be trendy these days, efficiency offers long-lasting effects like monetary savings and reduced environmental impact. So today on Point on Watch, we are taking a look at green and energy usage and the environment. I'm seated with Brian McConkey. Brian, it's always delightful to have you here to contribute your wisdom and expertise to our discussion.
I'm such an energy expert, yeah. But we're taking a break from politics for a week because we've been doing a pretty steady diet of that for 3 or 4 weeks, but certainly a timely issue because energy is going to be a big issue come the election time anyway, and has been for quite some time. But it's an issue that South Carolina is grabbing hold of and trying to pass some initiatives through to make our people in this state be a little more conscious about how to save.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see that too. And I'm also happy that people are looking at our political candidates and where they stand on energy issues, because that isn't just a right now issue. It's a right now and tomorrow and the next day
20
and the
years
next day.
and 20 years after that. Yeah.
Right. So that's why we are delighted to have invited Nakia Garland and Ginger Greenway from sce&g to be with us. Thank you, ladies, for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh, this is really great. When I realized that it's Energy Awareness Month, October is Energy Awareness Month, and we look at what we have going on in our environment, sometimes it's something that could be easily overlooked, the things that we should do to make our entire world better. So when we look at our presidential candidates, we recognize that people are paying attention to everything that they're saying, but they're also looking at their energy positions as well. Ginger?
Yeah, and I think it's a good time because people are becoming more aware. And it's good for us because we want people to understand what their energy use is in their own homes. And at sce&g, we offer a free home energy checkup where we'll actually look at a customer's usage and we'll come out and do a visual inspection of their home inside and out, so we can let them know where they're losing energy and how their home is using energy. Because with small changes, you can really start to see some savings on your bill, and also it helps with the environment. So.
I don't know about you, Brian, but my energy bill is never low enough.
Well, she just gave you a pretty good incentive
to
get the inspection done.
It's always too high, and I always tease my friends from sce&g, and I tell them that I bet they get their energy for free, but they tell me they don't.
No, we don't. We don't at all.
Or at least a discount. They say they don't.
No, not even a discount.
But if most people find that they could save a few bucks here or there and just make some minor changes, I would imagine they'd be all for that.
Do you see that?
Yeah, we actually do. And I think, as gasoline prices went up, I think we started driving differently and, carpooling more and things like that. So I think if you think of it in those terms, lowering your thermostat in the winter. We're getting ready to hit heating season, so we recommend 68 or lower. And I hear people say, well, that's just too cold. I know. So, but whatever you do keep it on, try to lower it just a little bit. And then when you're gone 8 or 10 hours, during the day, lower that thermostat either by a programmable thermostat or you can do it manually. The one thing is, if you have a heat pump, you want to make sure that if you lower that thermostat while you're gone, that you raise it 1 degree at a time when you get back home, so you don't activate the heat strips. But that is an easy tip that everyone can do, and it can become part of your daily routine as you leave in the morning.
It's good to have focus like this, like an Energy Awareness Month, to kind of talk about something we normally wouldn't talk about.
No, not at all, but we should focus on it. Are there other little things we can do too, just with basics like lighting fixtures, things like that people maybe aren't thinking of?
Yeah, actually, that's actually a great mention. CFL bulbs are an easy way for customers to try to work at energy efficiency.
CFL bulbs.
CFL.
Those are the curly ones?
The spirally ones. That's
I
typically
do
what
too.
people are used to seeing, although you can get CFLs in non-spiral shapes. So
really?
they are the more decorative kinds that are kind of round, but the actual spiral is kind of built in underneath the glass shell. So those options are available to customers, and they're easy. sce&g offers rebates and incentives for lighting, particularly for CFLs. You can go into Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Sam's Club in the Columbia metro area and be able to find those bulbs discounted on the shelf by sce&g.
That's interesting because the bulbs are a little bit pricey, but with the discounts that we get from sce&g, it makes them very, very affordable.
Absolutely.
Do they last longer than the regular?
They do. They last 5 times longer, typically, depending on how often you use them. Of course, light bulbs, depending on how often you turn them on, how long you keep them on, but they last 5 times longer than incandescents.
Do you think, Nakia, that people think enough about our own energy usage and what effect we're having on the overall environment?
I don't think so. I think, to Ginger's point, that I think we want customers to be informed. It then gives you the opportunity to make a choice. If you choose to bump your thermostat higher than 68, great, but at least you know what that means for you on the back end when you get your energy bill.
Well, I know you guys take it on a chin a lot of times. People are calling y'all up and saying my energy bill is too high. There's no way in the world that I could be using this much energy. And then you show up and they open the door and it's winter and they are walking around in shorts and t-shirts and they have the house warm enough to accommodate it as if it were a beach. And I mentioned that and described that scene because I've done it myself. And but we have to realize that whenever we turn that thermostat up, we are spending money.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I know my friends, they want to keep it on 78 in the winter and 68 in the summer.
That's right.
So it's quite the opposite. But I think with just little changes, and I tell people, try moving it 1 degree towards that design, towards that setting, that efficient setting, every week, and get used to it. Put an extra blanket on the bed, things like that. Just little changes like that can really make a difference. So, and I think also, like when we go out to homes, a lot of times we see their water heater is set at 140, 135, 140. It usually comes for the manufacturer set higher, and really when 120 is plenty hot enough. So there's another area that right away you can see some savings.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, Brian, I want to talk about insulation in our homes and what we're doing to lose air and heat. I remember after I had them come out and do a home energy audit for me, I realized I was cooling half my neighborhood.
Okay. Neighbors probably liked it. Right?
Coming up, we're going to talk about what we as individuals can do to conserve energy and what difference it will make. So you guys stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching On Point on WatchBox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own WatchBox.
Welcome back to On Point on WatchBox. Brian McConkey and I are talking today about energy usage, and Brian, our commitment to the environment. Energy is Energy Awareness Month, and while green may be trendy, green efforts also not just preserve energy.
It's becoming a way of life for many people as well, not just a trend.
So it should be.
And slowly making its way into everyday life in some regards, whether people are resistant or not.
That's
there
right.
are people that are.
That's right. There are people that yes, but
I'll do it my way.
If Ginger Greenway and Nakia Garland have their way, we'll be doing better. So talk to us about some of the things that all of us can do to be more green in our homes and also save some money. I mentioned before we went to break that I hadn't checked, say, the vents where my heat and air come out. They weren't properly insulated, and because they weren't, then I had these gaping holes really that were covered up by a vent, but I mean they were really holes, and it was blowing the air under the house and the heat under the house, and of course inflating my bill.
Yeah, I kind of equate, the ductwork for your heating and air system to water pipes. And if a water pipe was leaking, you would have it fixed because, that's going to be an immediate mess in your house. Well, with ductwork, the air's leaking, but we don't really do anything about it. Most people don't even know that their ductwork is leaking. And so in South Carolina, and not just our state, all over the place, we find that a lot of ductwork is not sealed properly, or it's older and it's just, it's gone through its use and normal wear and tear, and so it's come loose and things like that. So that's something that through the home energy checkup that we'll inspect. It's a visual inspection again, but then we'll even give you pictures and show you where it's leaking. So it's a really good thing to do, or you could have your heating and air person do it as well. But that's one of the areas that we see where your unit's not working near as efficient as it could. And little things like, you've heard us say, check those filters and change them when they're dirty every month, because if you're not, then your unit's having to work twice as hard or up to twice as hard because the air's not able to circulate through it freely. So.
And that's
do you do those tips?
I do. I wasn't always so good about changing the filters out, but now I do it like clockwork every month, about every 4 to 5 weeks. So.
When you take the filter out and it's dirty, you realize.
You realize how hard that thing's working in there.
Yeah, you realize how hard it's working and how significant it is that that we do those things. We don't think about them all the time because air is and heat, you don't really see it, as Ginger was
No, it
indicating.
doesn't leak through the ceiling. Like
No.
you were
Yeah,
saying, like
right.
water
Doesn't
would.
make
yeah.
a mess, so you don't really necessarily
You can make a
notice it all
financial
the
mess,
time.
though.
Yeah, that's good, Brian. What are some other tips? Run down some tips for us in the last few minutes that you guys have. And Nakia, tell me something that we should know about your area that we could use as a tip.
Okay, great. Well, I'll start with me. CFLs, don't wait till your incandescents blow out to replace them. Go get them now. Our discounts make them really inexpensive, so it's a great time to go out and purchase those CFLs. And then if you're interested in bumping up your game and doing something more expansive than just CFLs, sce&g has rebates on heating and cooling equipment, water heating equipment, whole home approaches. If you're really trying to really retrofit your entire home, sce&g has rebates for those things as well.
You guys have a lot of rebates. Where should people go to check on those rebates?
If you go to our website, sceg.com/energywise, and that's one word, you will be able to access all the information about our programs. We have programs on the residential side for residential customers. We also have programs and incentives for businesses. So if you're a small business all the way up to an industrial customer, we have rebates for those customers as well.
Okay, we've got some incentives there for everybody. Yeah.
Tips, Ginger?
Paying attention to that thermostat and having that home energy checkup. If you're not an sce&g customer, the other things you can do is make sure you have adequate insulation, especially in your attic area, but you need to look at the whole house because the house needs to be sealed properly so you're not letting all that air, that conditioned air that you're paying for, just go out the windows and around the doors and those cracks and crevices that aren't sealed up. So,
You know, one of the things that I like to make people aware of is that sce&g has a soft side. When people can't pay, you have programs that people can enroll in so that they don't lose their energy or lose their power. What should people do to find out about those? Because those are really, really great. I don't ever remember having a listener from my radio show call back to say they wouldn't work with me.
yeah, I mean, the one thing is for people, you know, one thing, we're seeing more of this in the economy that we're in, so call us. Our people from our contact centers and our business offices, they are trained to talk with you, get you on the right plan so that you can afford those payments. But call us, don't wait until it's too late. Call us ahead of time so we can really get proactive and help you.
With the holidays coming up, I bet we use a whole lot more energy, don't we?
Yeah, and it's one of those times where, you know, those Christmas lights are wonderful, but yeah, it can end up affecting that bill. So use timers. You know, that's a great way to do it. Use timers instead of plugging in the tree all day and that kind of thing. Use timers so they're on for a few hours every night.
Any closing comments from each of you?
No, just remember that sce&g has rebates, and find out more information about some energy tips on our website.
Yeah, let us know and we'll come out and do a free home energy checkup. And again, we'll go over your personal usage for your personal home. We can give you tips all day, but this is specific to your home, and at the end you'll get a report. So then you know where to start. You might just need to make little changes and other people might need to make bigger changes.
So you'll have somebody come out, assess it for us, tell us what we need to
Absolutely.
do,
Yes.
and then set a plan for us. I think that's really great. And that's low cost, no cost.
That's no cost.
That's
That's
great.
free.
Best
Yeah,
cost there is.
yeah.
Pretty cool. Now,
Yeah,
on the
good
commercial
cost.
side, if I've got businesses that are out there watching that want to know, what can you do for me? What do we have?
We have programs like Nakia said, and so there's information out on our website. So go look there, or they can call in and we can get them to the right person so that they'll even have people come out and help them with where they need to go.
Oh,
So,
wonderful. Well, Nakia Garland, thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. Ginger Greenway, it's always a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you
so much.
Certainly. When we come back, we're going to talk about a new effort. South Carolina was recently chosen as a site for a pilot green project for homeowners. The effort did so well, it's now gone national. When we come back, we're going to talk about that program, Brian. Thanks. You guys stay with us.
You're watching On Point on WatchBox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own WatchBox.
Welcome back to OnPoint on WatchBox. I'm Cynthia Hardy. This is Brian McConkey, and we're talking energy usage and our commitment to the environment today. October is Energy Awareness
Yes,
Month.
most certainly is. And so we're taking a break from our political diet that we've been having, and we've learned some pretty good tips that everybody can do at home. Checking
Sure.
for insulation, using different types of lighting, just simple things to make sure you save a few dollars here and there and help the environment at the same
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
But now we're going to invite in some new folks to the show. Terrence Jackson, Kenneth Glover from Greenergy Agency. I got it right, Greenergy, right?
Greenergy.
To
It's a
talk
neat
about
name.
some of those ways that folks out there that may be a little confused about how to do all this and maybe modernize the home a little bit. Where's a good place for just the average person to start, and where should they look in terms of being more efficient?
Well, I think when you take a whole house approach at being energy efficient, the first place to start is in your attic. Let's make sure that you've got proper insulation and your attic area is sealed off, because as we know, heat rises, so a lot of times you get a lot of heat loss through your penetrations in your ceiling. The second and most important place, I believe, is to look underneath the house in the crawl space and in ductwork to make sure that it's sealed properly and you're not losing air that way.
That's interesting. Kenneth, when we talk about the things that you guys do, I know one of the efforts that you have, you actually go into homes. You help people assess what they need and help them to get the resources to be able to get that. This was a pilot program in South Carolina. How proud are you that it went national?
Hey, I'm really proud. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
I know. I mean, when I read about it, I thought it was really, really great that we would have something like this. So what happens is if people are willing to have an assessment as to what's wrong and invest in fixing their homes, there's special programs that will help them do that.
Well, yes, ma'am. And what we're looking at now, there's a bill passed in Congress, in the Senate back in June, that's actually a part of the Farm Bill that's allotting about $25 million to doing energy efficiency retrofits throughout the country. So they're just rolling it out, and they used a lot of the things that we did in South Carolina as a model for that program.
Were you involved in that pilot program?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We did. We looked at a lot of homes, and we did a lot of audits, and basically did a lot of retrofits for people in South Carolina.
What are some of the biggest surprises that people realize, you guys, when you go in and you do look around and look-see and you point out things to them? What are they surprised most about, Kenneth?
Well, we like to do a picture catalog that we show the homeowner. We're the guys that crawl under the house, so we find the things that you as a homeowner wouldn't normally find.
Because we're not crawling under the house.
You're not crawling under there, right.
You know what to look for.
It is scary. Spider webs.
But a lot of times we hear homeowners say that, this side of the house is a lot warmer than the other side. So once we get up under there, actually we found ductwork that's not connected. So naturally you aren't getting the airflow to that side of the house. And plumbing penetrations. You may have had a leak in your tub area, and you had a plumber that came in. Well, he pulled the insulation down and he repaired the floor, but he didn't seal the floor back up. So now you're getting unconditioned air being pulled into the house from those leaky areas.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Greenergy. How did Greenergy come about?
We both kind of had different careers prior to getting into the energy efficiency area or arena, and we started working on a project last year, doing the pilot, and it grew from there. We kind of got excited and started learning more and finding out that you could really help people. You can make their homes more comfortable, more energy efficient, and also healthier. The indoor air gets a lot healthier when you seal up those penetrations, and you're not sucking that poor air from the crawl space.
Brian, do you remember when people would kind of laugh at the whole thing about the environment? Remember when Al Gore was really big on energy and conserving the environment, and people almost treated it as if it was not quite the big old issue.
Or
it
was a fad, or something that this too would pass, something like that.
Right.
But no, we're seeing two gentlemen here that had different career paths at another point in their lives, and here they are getting into this industry, making a difference. And do you think there are enough people out there that are aware that there are little things they can do that can make a really big difference in their own home? Are they surprised maybe when you come and do one of these inspections and say, man, you had a gaping hole in one of your ducts? Do they even realize these things?
A lot of the homeowners are a lot more knowledgeable than you may imagine.
Oh, really?
I guess everybody's surfing the internet now, and they're trying to find ways to save money. And obviously, this is one of the largest investments you make in your home, other than your mortgage payment. We've seen people decrease their utility bills by $100 to $200 per month during the heating and cooling season. So they're really excited about that. And we go in, and with the measures that we identify and correct, we certainly help them achieve those measures.
I think sometimes people don't get, and I know a bunch of stuff because I've been hanging out with sce&g for a little while now, but I think people don't recognize the amount of energy that they use, and being able to track your energy usage can help you be more efficient in the way that you use it. If you know how and when and the times and stuff that you use energy, you might be able to better identify where you're letting it get away from you.
I would agree with that. I think each of the utility companies provides, well, most of them provide a history of your energy usage over the last 12 or 24 months. And those charts are really helpful when we sit down with a homeowner. We can kind of look month by month and tell them where their peak energy usage is. And they start to think about it and go, oh yeah, that is when we had the cold winter or when I had the relatives over. And then they can adjust behaviors accordingly.
I guess we better go to break now. You guys going to stick around?
Yes, sure.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion on key ways to do our part to preserve the environment and save money at the same time. Stay tuned.
You're watching On Point on WatchBox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own WatchBox.
Welcome back to On Point on WatchBox. Brian McConkey and I are talking about energy efficiency and ways that we can contribute in our own personal way to a good environment.
And I think we've learned a few tips so far throughout the course of the first 3 segments of the show. And we were talking in the break about we're not asking people to suffer and to just shut down the air conditioning system. We're just asking them to be a little smarter and explore some ways to be a little more efficient. And you can help them do that.
Yes, we can. Yeah, we think that, again, we talked about things like insulation and duct sealing, but also making sure your mechanical equipment is working at peak efficiency. You need to make sure that you tune up your HVAC systems or check the SEER ratings on your equipment to make sure that you're using an energy efficiency or energy efficient type of equipment. If it's 10 years or older, you may really seriously want to consider looking at investing in upgrading that equipment.
Yeah.
And there may be some people never heard the term tune-up used when referring to your HVAC system.
They
think car. So what does that entail? What is a tune-up for your AC unit?
Well, it's basically just servicing the unit.
Okay. On a regular basis?
Yearly.
Okay.
At least
Just
yearly.
checking it out and see what it's doing, dusting it off, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, cleaning the coils.
Yeah, because a lot of times, people, we're so out of sight, out of mind when it comes to gadgets or stuff like
it's there,
that.
it'll just work.
We think they just work. You just turn that on, that works. And then we really don't think about the efficiency of it all. You mentioned before we went to break that you've seen people reduce their bills $100, $200. Were you talking residential or commercial? And what would make something so drastic in terms of a reduction?
I was talking about residential, and as Terrence said, you take a whole house approach. We also look at the appliances, and I don't think we've mentioned that yet. That old freezer that you have in the storage room with one pack of hamburger in it? It's got ice
up,
that
though,
thick
right?
on it. Yeah,
Plugged up,
you may look at replacing that with a more energy efficient model. So, if you start with your appliances,
That's
and
true.
sce&g says they'll come out and they'll do a free energy assessment of your home. And that'll identify.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, you can't beat that. So that'll identify the problems and issues that you may have. And then you call the contractor of your choice, hopefully someone BPI certified.
Like you guys.
Like us.
Like Green Energy.
And we'll come out and we'll give you an assessment. We'll tell you exactly what measures we would like to improve upon on your home.
How receptive are we as a general population?
Well,
because a lot of the programs involve getting a loan to buy more energy efficient appliances and things like that. And generally, they are allowed in working with organizations to pay that back over a long period of time. It sounds like it would be great, because it sounds like if you put those energy efficient appliances in right away, that you'll see an immediate reduction of your bill, and the savings will kind of level out with what the payments are. Is that really how it works?
Well, I think yes, but I think our approach is a little better because we do get very good feedback as to our products and services, because we offer not only the service of doing the audits, but we'll tell you how it's going to pay back. We try to give them a good idea of how much each particular measure is going to save them over the long term. So we give them a realistic payback. And we do that for commercial projects as well. We look at doing commercial audits as well as showing them where they can save money on retrofitting a commercial building.
And I would think when people can see that in black and white in front of them, that they know that makes a difference 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years down the road, they may be a little more open to it, I would imagine. Yeah.
I like saving money, and I think everybody does. And since we're all going to use energy, it's not that we're going to shut it off.
Nope.
And so at some point we just have to realize that we've got to be more efficient with what we've got. I said in the open of the show, we often think that there's an endless supply of things like energy, air, water, and the truth of the matter is we have to replenish those resources. You say what to that?
I say environmental stewardship is the way to go.
Well, we have some time for closing comments. What would you like to contribute to the end of the conversation, Mr. Glover?
Well, I would just like to add that during the course of our business, we've encountered a number of people that have been suffering because of poor workmanship on homes or decisions that they made concerning their heating and cooling that was actually costing them money. So if not Greenergy, you can certainly go on the sce&g website and just educate yourself as much as you can so that you can save some money.
That's it for
That's
this
it.
edition
Last
of
word.
OnPoint. Thank you, guys, and I
Thank
hope
you.
people will call Greenergy. Brian, that's great. That's been great.
That's
We
some
want
good
people to
information
know
today.
that they can follow up with sce&g or with Greenergy, and they can get some of this stuff done.
Absolutely.
You guys, thank you for watching, and we want you to watch us again next week. We believe when you're informed, you're empowered. Once empowered, you are on point. We'll see you next week.